Mail Dit Breather, approximately 30 West End and 72nd.
10-4, I'm coming, baby!
Nicolas Cage and Ving Rhames are paramedics in a little too much of a hurry in that scene from Martin Scorsese's new film, Bringing Out the Dead. It's one of 5 new movies we'll review this week, and I'm Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm David Poland, the daily columnist from www.roughcut.com. Thanks for having me back in Chicago, Raj.
Yeah, I wanted to have you here in person. You've been attacking my review of Fight Club every day on the web, so...
Well, I love that movie, and you did not.
A lot of people do. Okay, yeah. Our first movie is Bringing Out the Dead, and it's a great film filled with fire and passion that reunites the team of director Martin Scorsese and writer Paul Schrader, the same 2 men who made Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and The Last Temptation of Christ. Like Taxi Driver, Bringing Out the Dead is about a man on the edge of madness who cruises the night streets of New York trying to bring help to people who don't always want help. His name is Frank, and he's played by Nicolas Cage, and a lot of his work is emergency on-the-job improvisation.
Larry, call for backup.
6-3 Zebra, 1085, 4th whip, 44 and 8.
No, you didn't let me finish. We have rules against killing people on the street, okay? It looks bad. There's a special room at the hospital for terminating. It's a nice, quiet room with a big bed.
Mom! Velvet!
You mean that? Yeah.
That's Mark Anthony, is a deranged man who's a regular client. They know him by name. Frank has a different co-pilot every night. One of them is played by John Goodman, who distracts himself from the job with thoughts of his next meal.
Oh, no!
What?
I just remembered I'm so stupid. I had beef lo mein last night. I can't eat the same thing 2 nights in a row.
Frank is way past being burned out, and he keeps trying to quit. The captain threatens to fire him, but never does.
I'll fire you tomorrow. Even better than that. What was I thinking about? I could forward you some sick time. How about a week?
A week's not going to do it. A week's not going to do it.
Kid, you're saying no. You ain't going to do it.
That's Arthur Nascarella, reminding me a little of the dispatcher in Taxi Driver. Patricia Arquette co-stars and is touching as the daughter of a dying man that Frank has brought back to life.
This city, it'll kill you if you're not strong enough.
No, the city doesn't discriminate against everybody.
Bringing Out the Dead doesn't give Frank the relief of being in a story with a beginning and an end. His life is a loop with endless emergencies. Nicolas Cage is right for this role, and Scorsese throws other characters at him to create a disjointed rhythm of the paramedic's endless job. Cliff Curtis is especially effective as the owner of a drug house. Although I've admired Scorsese's recent efforts to break out of his city streets mode in good films like The Age of Innocence and Kundun, Bringing Out the Dead shows him at the top of his form in a powerful film about a man who tries to do the right thing but never seems to get anywhere.
But, you know, even though Paramount is selling this as kind of a very Scorsese movie with a lot of fast-moving images a la Cape Fear, it's really a lot more like Last Temptation of Christ. It's very passionate, very Catholic. The story of this man trying to find redemption, or looking for it, because he doesn't believe he really can do his job anymore.
Exactly, and it's interesting that Scorsese went back and got Paul Schrader to write this screenplay because the 2 of them, I think, are on the same wavelength when it comes to this kind of material as they were in Last Temptation, Raging Bull, and Taxi Driver. Here is a guy who suffers because of his inability to really do anything good. He wants to help, and he can't, and he's out there every night just being driven crazy by the weight of suffering that comes down on him.
Yeah, well, I think he's decided he's God. I think that's a lot of this movie is that he's decided he's God, and he doesn't have the touch, and by the end of the movie he realizes perhaps he's not God, and he should give himself some absolution. But this is not an easy movie. I mean, a lot of people are going to have a hard time with the story because really Cage's character goes, as you said earlier in your thing, from A to B. This is not a long story. This is not your typical Nicolas Cage experience, but it is a wonderful, powerful movie in its subtlety.
And what life Scorsese brings to it. His movies are alive. They vibrate with these characters, these locations, the kinetic energy, the camera work.
Well, we've got the 3 unwise men in the movie.
Exactly.
Walking through and being crazy, all 3 of them.
You look at one of his movies and you just wake up and you say other people are kind of sleepwalking compared to him.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, on to the next movie. We have to. It's called Body Shots, and I want to start by telling you what you won't be seeing here. That is any clip that even remotely hints at what the film is really about. That's date rape. New Line hasn't sent us those clips because they know that you won't be paying any good money to go see a 90-minute after-school special, even one with bare breasts and dirty words. This clip sets up the first part of the film.
So how many are going to be there?
3, maybe 4. Good looking, this chick? What do you think?
Have I met Sean? I don't think so. He's the one that introduced me to Ricka. They work together.
What's the name of this lawyer? This one that you're after?
Jane. Her name is Jane.
The heart of the movie is 4 male friends meeting 4 female friends, and wow, what a coincidence, they end up in 4 pairs. 2 of the couples will regret having coupled by morning. Here at the nightclub, one pair, Jerry O'Connell's maybe rapist and Tara Reid's maybe victim, make first contact.
Hey, man, I want that Sarah chicken.
She's taken, bro, all right?
For who? The child next to you? Please.
A third member of the girl group uses bondage to empower herself. That is, to empower herself to have kinky sex with the most self-indulgent jerk you'd ever want to meet. Here they are, with friends, the morning after.
He was there. Oh, and he said he was stranded.
I thought you slept in the gutter.
No. Before that.
You made love to Whitney.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the one redeeming woman and the one redeeming man. They don't get to have sex at all.
Last night, did we?
No.
Good.
Why good?
Because I like to think that I would have remembered.
I wish I could tell you that these clips do justice to just how unpleasant this movie was for me to sit through. I like all 8 of these actors, and I wish them well, but the film spends half of its running time trying to make the characters attractive and alluring, and then spends the second half judging them by Reagan-era standards for exhibiting exactly the characteristics that the film wants you to find attractive. Not, of course, that the film has anything truly insightful to say about any of it anyway. I should take back my crack about this being like an after-school special, because that's way too unkind to after-school specials. Friends won't let friends see body shots.
You know, one of the things that's interesting about this movie is it sets itself up as a serious examination of date rape, seen through her eyes and through his eyes, and that gives the movie an opportunity to show her brassiere being taken off gently and being ripped off.
That's right.
And her thrown down on the bed and throwing him down on the bed, so we get to see the whole thing twice. And meanwhile, I'm thinking they've got the wrong issue here. This movie is not really about date rape, it's about alcoholism.
Yeah.
Because neither
excellent
person
point.
can remember what really happened. You know, if you wake up in the morning and you think you might have had sex, but you're not sure who with or how, or for that matter, if you really had it, then maybe you ought to call AA before you call the cops.
Yeah, everybody's drunk. This is like, this is what kids are like today. They're all out there drinking and being stupid because nobody enjoys the sex they have. I mean, that's ultimately the problem. The one person who enjoys it is a dominatrix because, one girl is having sex against the wall and she's, with somebody she doesn't really want to be. It's an insane world, and I'm a little older than these people, but not so much that I can't remember that this is not the way it is.
Remember when we used to go to movies where people really liked to have sex? And they enjoyed it, and afterwards they were relieved and happy.
And I still like to have sex, I must admit, so I'll be happy to do it again.
Okay,
Not
thank
in
you
this
very
movie,
much
though.
for that insight, David. We appreciate it. Later in the show, Nev Campbell is at the center of a romantic triangle in 3 to Tango.
Have you ever kissed a woman before?
Not the right one.
And coming up next, Melanie Griffith is a ditzy dame on the lam in Crazy in Alabama.
My name is Carolyn Clay, and I need a hat. I need a hat box. I need a hat.
She doesn't need that hat box to carry a hat, but a head. That's Melanie Griffith as a crazy Alabama woman named Lucille who has decapitated her husband and is now heading to Hollywood hoping to be discovered by the movies. Her adventure is one of 3 stories in Crazy in Alabama, which is at least 1 story too many. The other story is seen through the eyes of Tijo, her nephew, who is witness to the death of a black teenager during a civil rights demonstration at the local swimming pool. Lucas Black is the kid, and Meatloaf Aday is the sheriff.
You killed Taylor Jackson. You pulled him off that fence. And you meant to do it.
Who else you tell that to?
In Hollywood, amazingly, Aunt Lucille is successful in finding a job in show business, but she's still carrying that hat box.
Got your lines down?
I stayed up half the night practicing.
Well, just relax and have fun. Listen, would you introduce her to everyone, Amanda?
Certainly.
Okay, people, let's go.
Can I put my husband here?
Eventually, somebody looks in the hat box, and she's charged with murder and brought back to Alabama to stand trial before a judge played by Rod Steiger, who has a goofy courtroom style.
Am I to take it that you're going to continue with this plea, and in spite of your legal advisors and my kind of opinion about it, is that true? You're going to stick with it?
I mentioned that the boy tells 2 stories, one about the ditzy aunt and the other one about the black teenager. The studio, Columbia Pictures, supplied no dialogue scenes representing the other half of the movie, which is about the civil rights struggle going on in town in 1965. Those shots of the sheriff and the kid being pulled down from the fence were lifted by us from the movie's trailer. Sometimes marketing decisions can be very cynical. So let me say that the black teenager who dies is played, and well played, by Lewis Miller, that he and Lucas Black share some powerful scenes that I would have liked to show, and that his character's death will result in another trial in Steiger's courtroom, although we never see that trial. I dislike Crazy in Alabama for various reasons, but what really got to me was the decision to use a civil rights murder as flavoring in a comedy about a ditzy nutcase.
Yeah, this film is the first film from Antonio Banderas as a director, and I think he was completely sincere. I think it's one of the nice things about the movie is there's a real sense of being warm to everything, and the story about the civil rights movement is much better. But I do think that the combination of the two just didn't quite work.
No.
Never happened.
Yeah, the narrator sees these two stories through his point of view, and one is the aunt, and the other one is the civil rights struggle, and the two stories each would be okay by themselves, but they don't fit together. Each one makes the other one curdle. It's just inappropriate to have a comedy and then have this serious stuff and cut back and forth between it.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, I think that the story of the aunt would have been a little less comedic had they hired an actress who was 32 years old, who was... There's nothing wrong with Melanie Griffith being 40-something years old and playing this role. However, it's really not as poignant. Somehow the numbers don't add up, and somehow a woman who is already kind of established, leaving her kids to go pursue a dream, is not really tragic, when I think it was meant to be in this movie. I think the
she
story
leaves her kids because she's nuts. That's why she cuts off her husband's head, too, because she's nuts. So you can forgive her anything because she's crazy in Alabama.
She is crazy in Alabama, and so is Rod Steiger in this picture, who just gives a wacky improvised performance. And he's a great actor still, but he sometimes just kind of phones it in, and I think he did here.
Okay, coming up next, Matthew Perry is an architect with designs on Nev Campbell in 3 to Tango.
This must be so boring for you.
No, I mean, it's not that boring. Champagne, music, Amy in a kimono. I swear, if you weren't gay, Oscar, I'd have to kill you.
Gay? I'm not gay. I didn't gay.
And that is the central joke of 3 to Tango. A young architect played by Matthew Perry from Friends gets a life-changing commission from Dylan McDermott from The Practice, whose millionaire industrialist character thinks that Perry's character is gay and therefore can be trusted to watch his mistress, whose kimono is filled by Nev Campbell, a party of 5. Oy. So, 3 to Tango is obviously a wacky romantic farce, right? Or maybe it's just a big screen version of Friends.
I'm gonna go.
Actually, I had a lesbian experience once.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You did.
Or perhaps it's a live-action cartoon.
What happened here? What the hell happened to your head?
Notice the fabulous hairstyling comedy that first-time director Damon Santostefano foist upon one of the best comic actors of his generation, Oliver Platt, who plays Perry's best friend and business partner.
As soon as we left the gallery, our cab caught on fire. Then she elbowed me in the face. Then we both threw up.
Or perhaps 3 to Tango means to be a Billy Wilder-type dramatic comedy, a la The Apartment. Here, Nev Campbell's character, Amy, mistakenly ends up face-to-face with her boyfriend's wife.
Your design is superb. We were just discussing it.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is, my girlfriend, Amy. And Amy, this is my boss, Charles.
I'm sorry. Aren't you gay?
Getting the drift? 3 to Tango does not know what the hell it's supposed to be. Matthew Perry's playing it at sitcom speed. Nev Campbell's playing farce. And she does it nicely, but she's the only person in the movie doing it. Oliver Platt plays his subtle sophisticate, and then all of a sudden he turns into a raging queen in the second act. Good comedy requires a rhythm, and it needs to stick with that rhythm. But even more importantly, one has to wonder whether somebody mistaking somebody else for gay is actually funny in 1999. Not because it's politically incorrect, but because I thought we were a little bit more sophisticated these days. Of course, sophistication is something you'll never have to worry about if you go see 3 to Tango. Yes, that's my thumb in my pants, and no, it wasn't happy to see this movie.
You know, as I looked at this film, I realized once again how tired I am of the idiot plot. And the idiot plot has been defined as the plot that would be over in a second if anybody said the obvious thing to somebody else. And you have Nev Campbell and Matthew Perry engaging in this excruciatingly complicated dialogue to avoid it coming out that he's not gay. And it's so frustrating. Now, she is wonderful in this movie, and I just watched her all the way through it because I couldn't stand to watch or listen to anything else except that Oliver Platt is sometimes okay.
Yeah, there's idiocy from beginning to end. The movie opens with hair jokes, and then somebody has their bed in their office, and it just doesn't, it's all over the place, and it can't decide what speed it's going, it can't decide what it wants to say. It's like the guys who were acting really gay turn out to be gay. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Okay, next movie, and after the frivolities we've been talking about on this show, I think it comes as a real breath of fresh air to clear away the fog. This movie is called The City, and it consists of 4 stories about Spanish-speaking illegal immigrants in New York, and its honesty and directness is heartbreaking. The first story involves day laborers who are promised $50 a day, but hear a different story when they get to the job.
And for every brick that you clean, we will pay you 15 cents.
What? Le da 15 centavos por ladrillo.
The second story, a seamstress in a sweatshop who wants to send money home for her sick daughter. She hasn't been paid in weeks.
Tengo esperanzas. Han dicho que el lunes pagan. ¿El lunes? Estás loca. Son ya 4 semanas que nos dicen lo mismo. Todavía no ha llegado el cheque.
The third story, a homeless puppeteer who wants to enroll his daughter in school, but because they live in a car, they have no fixed address.
Well, you should stay in the city shelters. That's what they're there for.
Everybody's sick in the shelter. I got sick in the shelter. I'll never take my daughter to the shelter.
And there is a little hope in the fourth story about 2 shy young people who meet and start to fall in love.
Yo también soy de Tucson.
The city, which is known in Spanish as La Ciudad, is a corrective for all those superficial Latino movie images about drugs and cars and music. It's about hard-working people who were respected at home and now find they've become invisible in America. The movie was directed by a documentary filmmaker named David Riker, who mostly used immigrants themselves as his actors. It reminded me of The Bicycle Thief and other classics of neorealism, and it's playing in art theaters around the country. It's worth looking for.
Yeah, and that's really, The Bicycle Thief's an appropriate analogy. Riker makes a movie that is really, in some ways, a silent movie, and really old-fashioned. It's nice that it's in black and white because it fits so beautifully. His images are almost more impressive than any of the dialogue or any of the conversations that go on. You feel everything without anybody saying a word.
Absolutely. You know, apart from its social message or its political meaning, which are not really the reasons I think that people will go to this movie, the joy that I got from it was the joy of a silent film about very simple people and very simple, very dramatic, very moving stories. It kind of gets you on an emotional level.
And you really feel their pain. You really feel the agony they go through and how hard they work. It's a powerful movie.
Yes, it is. When we come back, if you like The Sixth Sense, you might also like my video pick this week. My video pick this week is a ghost story that came out in 1988 and has just been re-released on tape and DVD in a director's cut with some extra features. And now that audiences have spent $250 million on The Sixth Sense, they might be interested in another good film about a small boy who sees dead people. The film is named Lady in White, and it stars Lucas Haas as a kid who was locked overnight in the school cloakroom as a joke. As the moon rises and he realizes he has been forgotten, he sees a ghost.
Where is it? Where's my present? Where did you hide it this time?
Who is this young girl, and who is the masked man who appears not long after? Is the man a ghost, or is he real? And what about the local eccentric, played here by Katherine Hellman? Is she the lady in white?
Guys?
Like all the best movie ghost stories, this one is firmly anchored in reality and does a good job of setting its supernatural story in a convincing small-town setting. The writer and director is Frank LaLoggia, who, for this director's cut, has added 2 additional scenes and some other bells and whistles. Lady in White is in stores right now on tape and disc, and it's my video pick of the week. Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed this week. 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up for Bringing Out the Dead, another great film from Martin Scorsese with a haunting Nicolas Cage performance. 2 thumbs down, though, for Body Shots, which would be more useful if it knew why its alcoholic characters are so confused. 2 more thumbs down for Crazy in Alabama, which tries to fit a civil rights murder and a ditzy husband killer into a movie that's only big enough for one of them. And 2 more thumbs down for the inane and belabored sitcom 3 to Tango, which has nothing to recommend it but the undeniably cute Nev Campbell. 2 thumbs up, however, for The City and its 4 heartbreaking stories of immigrants.
Yeah, I think it's almost as important this week that people go see La Ciudad and Bringing Out the Dead as they avoid body shots in Three to Tango. They should stay away from those theaters and go see a good movie. Go see Bringing Out the Dead. It'll be in theaters this week.
If they follow our advice, they'll be much happier moviegoers.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks a lot for being here.
Thanks for having me back.
Okay. Remember, you can hear our reviews, both David's and mine, on the web at ebert-movies.com, part of Go Network. Next week, more new movies, including Being John Malkovich, with John Cusack magically entering the Malkovich brain. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
New Gorton's Tenders. Tender white fish. Crunchy batter. A great break from the usual.
It's Jennifer Leather's lowest price 4-piece living room package. A sofa and love seat for just $9.99, plus a free chair and ottoman, only from Jennifer Leather.
Please pass the Polaner all fruit.
Would you please pass the all fruit?
Naturally delicious Polaner all fruit, sweetened only with fruit juice.
History teaches us many lessons, one of which is few things last. Like a Moen faucet. Moen, buy it for looks, buy it for life.
Closed captioning for Roger Ebert in the Movies is brought to you by...
No one watches your bottom line like Office Max. Office Max. We go to the max for you.